Howdy folks, Dimitri here, and today is blog number 8, intervals 5th, 6th, 7th, and octave 8th. For more information about private lessons and questions, please visit me at my website, dimitriford.com. All right, blog number 8, intervals 5th, 6th, 7th, and octave 8th. Objectives: understand the steps to find an interval. Number 2, recognize the different sizes of intervals. Number 3, recognize the different qualities of intervals. Number 4, use the circle to navigate and find intervals. Interval: the distance between two notes measuring from the lower to the higher. The simplest way to explain intervals is to use the natural note circle in your workbook. There are two parts to measuring intervals. First, we ask how many letters, size, and then how many dots, quality, are between the two notes. Today, starting with the 5th interval, we will look at the distance between the natural notes. The natural notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Parts of the interval: size. To identify the interval size, we ask how many letters are from the lower note to the higher. They are always measured clockwise from the lower one to the higher one. Including both letters in the count will give us the interval size: second, third, fourth, etc. Counting the letters outside the natural note circle to find Count the letters outside the natural note circle to find the size of the interval. So like a question, let's say, what's the distance between D and A, or what is the size? We would start with D, 1, and we're going clockwise. D is the lower one. D, E, F, G, A. Or we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The distance between D and A is a 5th interval. That's the size. Number 2, the quality. We must then recognize the quality of the interval. The quality can be somewhat complicated, and the natural note circle will make this much easier to visualize. To find the interval quality, count the number of dots, half steps between the two notes. Do not count the lower note's dot. The same note is the same dot. So what I'm saying there is that if you go from D to D, the same note, you've gone no distance, and so the count would be 0. If I wanted to go from D to E, 1, 2, a second interval, I would count the dots 0, 1, 2. I would say there's 2 dots between D and E. This second interval would be a major second interval, and we talked about that in blog 7. Now, a little tougher this week because what we're doing is we are doing the larger intervals, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and octaves. All right, 5th interval. Let's look at the distance from one note to the 5th. Skip 3 notes. Count the lower note as 1, moving clockwise. Count the first note we skip as 2, the second as 3, the third as 4, and the higher note is 5. And we get C to G, a 5th. So we count C as 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5. We say the size of the distance between C and G, with C being the lower note, going clockwise, is a 5th. D to A is a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F to C is a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G to D is a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A to E is a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And B to F is a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quality of 5th intervals. The perfect fifth, capital P5, is 3 whole steps and a half step, 7 dots. The diminished fifth, lowercase dim5, is 3 whole steps, 6 dots. Check this blog's end to understand the perfect interval. Page 2. Working with the circle starting on C, we can now explore the quality of each of the fifth intervals in the major scale. For example, C to G is 3 whole steps and a half step, perfect fifth. All right, let's take a look. See if this is all true. C to G. So we're going from here to here. Okay, so we have 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps, and a half step. C to G is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 dots are perfect fifth. All right. So C to G is a perfect fifth. All right. So next up is D to A. So this is going to get messy here. I don't know what's the best way to do this. But D to A is from here to here. We have 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps, and a half step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots. Okay, it's perfect fifth. So I think what I'll do is let's back all this off, and we'll do it this way. C to G is a perfect fifth. D to A is a perfect fifth. Next up would be E to B. And again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots, or a perfect fifth. And then we have F to C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots. G to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots, perfect fifth. A to E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots, perfect fifth. And then we have B to F. And just like with the perfect fourths, you can see those are polar opposites. Whenever I see the letters on the opposite ends of the spectrum on the circle, I know to watch out, because that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots, and that is a diminished fifth. Okay, so they're all the same except for this one interval off the 7th scale degree off of B, which is a diminished fifth. Okay, that's important because when we build our chords, that perfect fifth is an essential part of building chords, and we're going to get into that pretty quick. Actually, I think it's the next blog, the last theoretical blog before we go into actually playing the guitar, ukulele, and bass. Okay, so enough time spent there. Let's see. There are 2 qualities to fifth intervals in the major scale: perfect fifth and diminished fifth. A diminished interval removes a half step from a perfect or a minor. So we talked about that. A perfect is 7 dots and a diminished is 6. All right. Sixth intervals. So let's back this off. Now we're going to work on sixth intervals. Let's take a look at the distance from one note to the sixth. Skip 4 notes. Count the lower note as 1, move clockwise, count the first note we skip as 2, the second as 3, the third is 4, the fourth is 5, and the higher note is 6. And we get C to A is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C to A is a 6th. What's next? D to B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D to B is a 6th. E to C. E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. E to C is a sixth. F to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. F to D is a sixth. G to E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was G to E. Let's go to F. F to, no, A. We're going to A. A to F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And B to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when we're counting size, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, we're counting the letters on the outside from the lower note to the higher note, and we're including both letters. So B to F, we'd count our B to G. B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and G is 6. So now that we know the size, we can go on to the quality. The quality of the sixth interval. The major sixth is 4 whole steps and a half step, 9 dots. The minor sixth is 4 whole steps, 8 dots. Okay? Working with the circle starting on C, we can now explore the quality of each of the sixth intervals in the major scale. For example, C to A is 4 whole steps and a half step, a major sixth. So we're looking at the distance between C and the higher note is A. We need 4 whole steps and a half step. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 whole steps and a half step. All right. D to B is a major sixth. 4 whole steps and a half step. So again, this is going to get messy. So we're going from D to B. 1, 2, 3, 4 whole steps and a half step. So those are both major sixth intervals. Let's see if we can find a minor one here. E to C is 4 whole steps, minor sixth. So we can do E to C now. So we're going from here to here, 4 whole steps. 1, whoops, 2, didn't like that one. 2, 3, 4 whole steps. And then we're to F to D, 4 whole steps and a half step, major sixth. G to E, 4 whole steps and a half step, major sixth. A to F, 4 whole steps, minor sixth. So let's do that one, A to F. Let's do a different color. So we're going from A to F. Remember, A is the lower note. 1, 2, 3, 4 whole steps, minor sixth. And B to G is 4 whole steps, minor sixth. There are 2 qualities to sixth intervals in the major scale, major sixth and minor sixth. Now we're going to move on to seventh intervals. Let's look at the distance from one note to the seventh, skip 5 notes. Count the lower note as 1, moving clockwise, count the first note we skip as 2, the second we skip as 3, the third as 4, the fourth as 5, the fifth as 6, and the higher note is 7. 7, we get C to B is a seventh. So we're counting again. We're doing size, not quality. Well, it's not supposed to get bigger on me. So we're going from C to B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C to B is seventh. D to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. D to C is a seventh. E to D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. E to D is a seventh. F to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. F to E is 7. G to F is a seventh, A to G is a seventh, and B to A is a seventh. Quality of seventh intervals. Major seventh interval is 5 whole steps and a half step, 11 dots. Minor seventh interval is 5 whole steps, 10 dots. Working with the circle, starting on C, we can now explore the quality of each of the seventh intervals in the major scale. For example, C to B is 5 whole steps and a half step, major seventh. So now we're going from here to here, and you see almost all the way around the circle. We have 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps, 4 whole steps, 5 whole steps, and a half step. Okay. It's a big interval. Almost all the way around. Major seventh, 5 whole steps and a half step. What's next? D to C, 5 whole steps, minor seventh. Okay, so now the next one we do, D to C. So here's the lower note, the higher note. See, not quite as big, okay? 5 whole steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So 5 whole steps is a minor seventh. So quickly, C to B is a major seventh, 5 whole steps and a half step. D to C is a minor seventh, 5 whole steps. Okay. E to D is 5 whole steps, minor seventh. F to E is 5 whole steps and a half step, major seventh. So let's do that one. Again, you can see F to E almost all the way around the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole steps and a half step. 11 dots. Major seventh, okay? Minor seventh, G to F. Oftentimes called a dominant seventh, okay? So we're going from here to here, but we're going all the way around the circle. Can't do the shortcut because this is the lower note. G is the lower note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole steps. So intervals are always counted from the lower note to the higher note. So they could be far, or they could be close, okay? Minor seventh. All right, grab screenshots of that if you need. What do we have left? A to G is a minor seventh, and B to A is a minor seventh. There are 2 qualities to seventh intervals in the major scale, major seventh and minor seventh. 8th interval, octave. We've talked about this many times, okay? Finally, let's take a look at the distance from one note to the 8th. Skip 6 notes. Count the lower note as 1, moving clockwise. Count the first note we skip as 2, the second as 3, the third as 4, the fourth as 5, the fifth as 6, the sixth as 7, and the higher note as 8. We get C to C as an octave, okay? 8th. So we're on C again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octave. D to D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get the idea? F to F is an octave, G to G is an octave, A to A is an octave, and B to B is an octave. Quality of 8th intervals. Perfect 8th is 6 whole steps, 12 dots. So working with the circle, starting with C, we are now exploring the quality of each of the 8th intervals in the major scale. For example, C to C is 6 whole steps. you see something amazing here. This is what we call a perfect interval because, watch. So we're going from C to C. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. I always have trouble right there. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now if we go to D, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect octave. Let's try to E to E. E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty fun. So you have to get yourself a Jamboard. It says visit me on my website and fill out the form. We'll get you on the Jamboard and see how much fun you can have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All those are perfect eighths. G to G is a perfect eighth. A to A is a perfect eighth. And B to B is a perfect eighth. So those are perfect because they're all the same, okay? There is one quality to eighth intervals in the major scale, the perfect eighth. What's left here? Okay, let's do a quick review. First, count the letters clockwise from the lower note to the higher one. The number of letters will give you the size of the interval. When counting the letters, include both. Next, count the dots on the natural note circle. The number of dots will give you the quality of the interval. When counting the dots, remember to count the first dot as 0. Have fun with 5th, 6th, 7th, and octave intervals. My name is Dimitri. Next blog, number 9, harmony, primary chords. For more information about private lessons and questions, please visit me at dimitri4.com. Interval quality. When talking about interval quality, the 4th, 5th, and octave intervals are perfect in quality. However, the 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th intervals could be better. They have major or minor qualities. In addition, all intervals can be augmented or diminished. Hey, that's all for blog number 8. We'll get to building some chords next time on blog number 9. And then blog number 10, we start in on the chord shapes on guitar, starting with the root 6 power chord. Thank you very much. Bye.